district governors, past district governor Bob, past district governor Jim, past district governor Allen. Allen, you and I have a tremendous obstacle to overcome. We both were brought into this club by Chuck Hoffine. So do the best we can to overcome our sponsor. And past district governor Gary, thank you very much for being with us. If there's any other past district governors on this call, would you please identify yourself? I want to make sure you're duly recognized.
Bart, excuse me, I don't see Gary with us. Is he still with us?
Yes, he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gary, did you follow Joe Ludwig as governor? Were you in 6600?
I followed Rex Engel, who followed Joe Ludwig.
Okay, all right, because Joe was my classmate.
Yeah.
Well, Eloise, you're very bold in allowing us past district governors to speak to, but you're on your way out, so that you don't have to worry about the tar and feathers after you've arranged this program. You can gracefully leave. The district governor is the RI president's official representative to the district, and the district governor is a Rotary International member. Everyone else is a club member, but I think it's important to note that you are, as a district governor, official representative and member of Rotary International. Some of the responsibilities of a district governor is to encourage new clubs, pay attention to struggling clubs, and do what you can to nurture and help them grow. Make sure that the constitution and bylaws of the various clubs comply with Rotary International. Obviously, membership. Supporting and encouraging the Rotary Foundation. A monthly newsletter that is presented. We worked really hard in District 6690 on the continuity aspect. When you're selected to be district governor, there's a designation. The first is you become the district governor nominee designate. Then you become the district governor nominee, the district governor elect, and finally district governor. And I bring that to your attention because anybody that has that designation is a little off the spool. Most of us are just Rotarians. In District 6690, we had 3,800 Rotarians. And in that 3,800 Rotarians, they were normal. And we had 4 people that just didn't quite get it. We spent a lot of time working on continuity and sharing with each other as you progressed through the various aspects to become your district governor. Mine was in 2013, 2014. Also, the district governor serves as a member on all committees in the district. So it's and when I'm sharing this information, it's not to intimidate, but rather to encourage people, because I think all of us that are on this call as past district governors would admit that it was a great gift we were given. And at the time I was governor, there were 534 in the entire world. When you consider that, it's a pretty special gift that you've been given. It starts with the selection process, and each governor or each candidate is placed in nomination by their club. Their club puts their name in nomination, and it's submitted to the nominating committee. At the time that I was president in 2003, 2004, 2013 is when I became governor. And an interesting sidebar here, in 2003, at All Ohio Pets, somehow Kathleen and I ended up sitting at the same table with past Rotary International president John Germ and his wife Judy. And John asked me the question. He said, "So what kind of a difference are you going to make as club president?" And being philosophical as I am, I tried to come up with, that weakest link thing and all that. And John said in that Tennessee drawl, he says, "Man, you're going to be a terrible club president." He said, "I want you to do." I'm glad you enjoyed that, Ken. Actually, what he said to me is he said, I want you to have fun and I want you to thank people. And we fast forward, now we're in Salt Lake City. Kathleen and I attended 9 international conventions. And again, we were in Salt Lake City, and somehow, some way, we ended up sitting next to John Germ and his wife, Judy. And we reminisced on my experience at Ohio Pets and thank people and have fun. And I told him I appreciated that advice. And I said, John, I'm going to be district governor in 13, 14. You gave me great advice in 2003. What can you tell me as I anticipate my role as district governor? And he said, pray. And before we really, we all mentioned how these Rotary International presidents are they're very approachable. They're great people. And John and I established a great relationship. So, but I remember him telling me to pray. Okay, once your name is submitted to the nominating committee, on my committee, there were 8 members, and it was chaired by the immediate past president, or the past district governor. And in that, and at that time, I know things have changed over the years, but as important to the process was the governor's spouse. And so Kathleen, she was interviewed as well. And in the questioning, they ask you a lot of questions about your management style and this and that, and whatever it's going to be. And at a point in time there in the interview, they asked Kathleen, they said, what is Bart's greatest asset? And she looked at him and she said, me. And I realized as we progressed through the years, that was absolutely correct. As a matter of fact, at one point in time in the interview, they thought they were interviewing the wrong Mahony. They wanted to pass it on over to Kathleen. Rotary takes a lot of pride and care in the training of their leadership. And so I was selected. That was on May the 4th of 2010. And it starts right away because I was invited to Pets the very next day as the whatever I didn't even know what the hell I was, a district governor, designator, whatever. But it starts immediately, and Rotary takes a lot of pride and spends a lot of money in training their leadership. And it begins with the zone institutes. We went to St. Louis, we went to Huntsville, and then it culminates with the International Assembly, and ours was in San Diego, California. And Kathleen had not been to San Diego before, so we wanted to go out a couple of days early just to get the feel for San Diego. And I will tell you, that's it. If you want to see San Diego, you get there 2 days before the event, because from that point in time on, from 7 to 7, 7 days, Kathleen and I were both involved in training. And each one of you has a name tag, and it's chipped. And as you enter the room, the grand ballroom where everybody starts out, your chip is recorded as being in attendance, and you are assigned a seat in that huge auditorium. Now, there was one guy that decided he was going to skip out and play golf. Well, what he didn't realize was they continue to monitor where you are through the day, and Rotary International sent him a bill for the entire International Assembly. So it's not something you want to skip out on. It's very intense, but I will tell you, being in the company of this 533 other governors from all over the world is an experience like none other. It's just absolutely beautiful. At that time, one of the other things that happens at an International Assembly, in addition to the training, and you're trained in every aspect, extemporaneous speaking, which I had a hell of a time with, but we got through it. Ron Burton was our Rotary International president at that time, and they unveiled the theme, and the theme was for our year, engage Rotary and change lives. They talk to you about the official jacket that you wear, and Ron was really sharp. He said, we're going to all just do a blue blazer and be done with it. At that time, they also introduced under the leadership, well, we had a relatively new general secretary and John Huco, and John would have everything paperless. So all of my club presidents, 59 of them, were introduced to submitting their goals paperless through Rotary International's goal system that they had set up. We also were the initial. They had changed the grant process. It was called Future Visions. And one of the things that they wanted to emphasize was sustainability, to make sure that all of these water systems that we were putting in and so forth were sustainable. We spent a lot of money and time in putting in water systems and filtering systems. They failed and nobody knew how to fix them. So they kind of changed the grant process. Also along came one of Jim Hunt's favorite programs, and that's DACDB. I spent 4 hours with Michael Brown learning DACDB, and Kathleen said when we were done, she told Mike, she said that was an exercise in futility. He will never get that. One of the real positives about I talked about how hard you're working, and you really are. I didn't expect it, but it was intense. But damn, the food was good, and that Haagen-Dazs ice cream bar was without equal. Now you come back from your international assembly and you begin to prepare for and Eloise, keep me on task here, but pay attention to that timeline, okay? I can handle rejection. Just tell me you're done.
One more minute. One more minute, Bart.
One more minute?
Yes.
Oh. Wow. Okay. I timed this thing out and it was 5 minutes, but let me get quickly then the club visits. You're at that time you were mandated to visit each club, and in that visit you did a business address with the board, and then you delivered the official address of Rotary International president. Kathleen accompanied me on 57 of these 59 visits. She was also president of her club. She arranged every single piece of itinerary when we traveled. The District 6690, the district itself is the southeast corner of the state. Has the most wealthy zip code in Ohio, and it also has the poorest zip code. We would go for a week and visit the hinterlands. Then we would come back for a week because I was still employed. We would visit the clubs in the immediate Columbus area. We did in 24 hours, we did a business meeting. Now this is if you have a let's start with a noon club. So you do the business meeting before the noon club. You do the presentation at noon. That evening you travel to another business meeting because that club meets in the morning. So you do a business meeting, then you do the official address to the club that morning. Then you go to another club, do an official business meeting and the official address. So you did 6 Rotary events in 24 hours. I'll close with this, and all I want is, I always say, if you want it to be important, you got to make it important. I had never, ever, ever, ever thought I would be in Rotary, let alone a district governor. But I can tell each and every one of you, and if there's anything here tonight I want to accomplish, it's I want each and every one of you to at some point strive to lead in that capacity. And it's not about me or you or Jim or Bob or Al. It's about the level of service that you can arrive to. And Kathleen and I will tell you, it is the greatest gift that we have ever been given. And I thank the Pathways Club for continuing to support me on my Rotary road. And we'll do another program where I got more than, give me at least 2.5 hours, Eloise or Penny. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Bart. Thank you. Thank you so much.